Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Austin, and we are getting some results in for the 2025 elections. So this is the first big kind of litmus test of where some of these trends are going. So with that, I'm going to throw it over to Austin. Austin, what's kind of the big key takeaway that you can think of?
Absolute blowout.
Interesting.
I mean, to put this in perspective, so I'm from Virginia originally. This is like the last I checked, like literally maybe 20, 30 minutes ago. They'd already won like 10 seats in the House of Delegates, which is kind of like a version of like the state House of Representatives, I guess you would say.
Hmm.
And like that is their largest super like majority since like 1989. Like there's a possibility they could get a super majority. They won the governorship, they won the lieutenant governorship, they even won the attorney general race, which everybody kind of thought would potentially go Republican because the Democrat was like embroiled in like some scandal a while back about like some stuff he was saying
Oh yeah, I know what
about
you're going about.
yeah about like killing kids and stuff. But no, they even won that. And like a really good tweet I saw a little bit ago was somebody said, really you can blame the shutdown for that because it was still a fairly close race, but it's like you've got hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers right now that are not getting paychecks, haven't been paid for like over a month now. You've got, I'm from Southwest Virginia, which is traditionally Republican, very, but it's very poor. This whole thing with SNAP, like, again, what do you expect? Like, as of like maybe an hour ago, every county in Virginia trended, blue. Even the county I was born in, which is like, still, it's like 60% Republican, or like the margin's like 60%, but still, it's like even it trended left by a little bit. It's like,
So here's kind of this kind of makes sense. So I think I'm looking at we use uh Spanberger as just kind of like as like a litmus test. Just looking at the results I've gotten now. Let me share my screen. So now this is CNN. I don't know how up to date it is, but I think it's reasonably updated. You can see they are. God damn it, fucking ads. You can see that it's what like. Gosh, what is that? Almost, was that 14%?
mhm.
And I looked at what Trump won by, and so he won by 5.78%. So that's what a overperforming of like nine.
Yeah, like to put like another thing that like really stood out to me that I just got sent was we talked a lot about like how Hispanics could be realigning and like other signs of that. So the non-white support enjoyed by Trump in the 2024 election has vanished. Minority voters supported Democrats by a margin of 3-1 in plurality Hispanic Manassas County, which is like Nova. In 2024, it was swung to the right by 9 points. Now it's went for Spanberger more than it went for Biden back in 2020.
Hmm.
I mean, these are just like insane. And then, I really don't care about the New York thing. I don't know why everybody's focusing on that. Like it's like that was kind of stupid, but like New Jersey, like again, like that was something everybody thought after the closeness of last year. Everybody thought, well, maybe it could be a swing state. No, blowout. Uh, I don't know if you're from you're lived in Georgia for a while. I don't know if you saw this,
Hmm.
but like what was it I saw a second ago? It really blew my mind.
They won. I think they won the public service commissions.
Oh yeah, big time. But like one that really stuck out to me was I think it was Monroe County, which was like a Trump plus 50 county last year. It went Democrat by like two tonight. It's like, and I think like it's just like this should be like blaring warning signs. And like the response I'm seeing is like, I mean, people in my sphere have been really good. Like they've had really good takes, but like it just seems like I was seeing something earlier where somebody was like, we just need to like fire all the federal workers in Virginia for this. And it's like, okay, first of all, that's highly illegal. You can't actually do that. But leaving that aside, it's like, what do you think's going to happen after that? Like, there's very much a delusion. Like, I saw, a really good tweet earlier. I think it was Best. It was like, oh, we're going into the golden age. Like we're jobs are booming, inflation's lowering, and somebody like the reply was just like, this is like North Korea to your delusion, and it's like I don't know how much more clear it could get to them. I really don't, and I feel like Trump's kind of starting to realize that a little bit because he had that long screed I sent you earlier on
Hmm.
like True Social, but it's like. Like I really it just blows my mind because it's like I don't know from like a professional like me and you've talked about this in private too like from like a purely like professional like just governing sense it's been really bad
Yeah, they're not very good at it.
and it's like I'm not like I'm from a different segment of the right than them so it's not like I really care all that much if they win or lose but it is like just from like a pure like
You
hey
you
people
you
are
still want
suffering.
them to be competent.
Yes, it's like I told somebody earlier. It's like you can respect your enemies, like you at least give them that. But like the one thing people can't respect is just absolute stupidity or incompetence, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a really good sign of that.
So I I wanna pat myself on the back. So I sent this email to Chuck Todd because I listen to his podcast sometimes to kind of get like the more liberal kind of establishmenty kind of perspective. And I think he's interesting because he also talks about football. Um, but I sent him an email and I said, given, and this was uh, August 29th. So I said, given the recent special elections in purple states like Arizona, House District 7, and the state Senate election in Georgia 21st, Dems have improved 5.5 to 9% respectively. Is there anything that we can pull from these races to shed light on the 2025 New Jersey and Virginia governor's races? Could Tennessee House District 7 be competitive? And then in 2024, Republicans won that by 10.7 points. And then I said, basically, is this anything with redistricting? Blah, 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 blah. And I was literally sitting here when I saw those numbers. I was like, that's exactly what I called.
Because yeah,
That's literally what it is. And I was like, if you look at that, the sign was clear that, and I think we talked about this, I think before, on one of the episodes, where I still think Tennessee House District 7 will go Republican, but it's like, even when they did the special election early on in the year where they had to replace, um, the two people who I think is Mike Waltz and one of the other people, when they did those special elections, it was still like a plus 10, plus 12, you know, swing in the Democratic side. And you can remember, I mean, people got scared. Like Republicans were like, whoa, we might lose this one. And
yeah,
it's interesting because it's kind of like what you talk about like with the delusion, right? Is it's like the sign was there from the very beginning that it's like, hey, this is kind of sustained, right? So you have that, you had obviously the one back in August, you got this data point. They're gonna have another one in December with the Tennessee House District. It's like, okay, you got all these data points. People don't like what you're doing. Like what there's no other way about it. And it's a swing that is pretty big, right? And I wonder, I haven't looked at anyone's commentary about this. So I almost kind of wonder, are they going to kind of do like fake news, election, blah 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 blah? Like are they going to lean into it more? And I almost think they are, you know?
I've it doesn't seem like the talking points have come out yet. I've definitely seen some of that. There was stuff. I saw Jack Posobiec earlier was like, oh, there was bomb threats at like a polling station. It's like, dude, that does not explain like
Yeah.
a it does not explain a landslide this big. I'm sorry. And then I'm seeing now they're blaming Tucker Carlson for interviewing Nick Fuentes is what they're trying to go with, and it's like that
Yeah.
that does not matter. Uh, what was the other one? I've seen a lot of like really bizarre takes.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I haven't seen any of them. So all the ones you're telling me, I'm just like, wow, like, oh my God, are we really
It's
going down
really
this road?
it's extremely detached from reality. Like
So
I'm
see, like that's the thing that like it's so when the more like common, easy answer why I don't think I could be a Republican is because as we just talked about that, I don't think they can actually govern or they don't want to govern. And then the second one is it's like there's some like this whole like election, like, okay, we're just gonna blame it on this. we're gonna blame it on that, and just kind of like denying it. It's like for me, I'm like that's just like it's just kind of like the dumb and cheap way to kind of get out of it. And like they will do that time and time and time again. I will not be surprised if that actually tries to get thrown out there a little bit to see if people are willing to jump on it, because they're going to want to get their base riled up. And they're like, oh, maybe this will work again. And then that's one thing I'm just like, I'm just not here for that, you know?
Like, yeah, I think me and you kind of touched on it last time, if I remember right. Like the whole they do all this stuff to get people riled up, but then they just have zero commit to it.
Yeah.
Like, see this in so many things. Like they'll do stuff to get like they. I can't. I don't even want to say like own the libtards because they're not even owning them. They just do stuff to
No.
like piss them off, and then they don't actually follow through. And then it's like, okay, now your base is upset because you've not done anything, and then you've got the opposition mad without like I don't know. Somebody told me tonight it was almost like they were trying to lose. I don't think that's the answer because they really do seem this deluded. It honestly to me seems like they're just that detached,
Yeah.
and that's been something I've been saying for a while. It's like it just you. I mean, like me and you even talked about this last episode. I know for a fact we did. Like we brought up like the food stamp situation, and it's like
Hmm.
again, what do you expect?
Yeah. So, um, let's go to New Jersey governor. I was kind of interested by this one because everyone was like, this was going to be the closest one. And she still won by like 13 points or 13%.
Some a guy I follow that does like Virginia elections. He was like, I think I said it to you a second ago. He's like, just about every possible seat in like the House of Delegates they could have won, they've won. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't, I'm not even like mad that they did bad. Like I'm kind of enjoying like I like this is one thing I will say like is kind of nice from my position. I can kind of enjoy it when both sides lose. Like it really like I get laughs either way.
Hmm.
But it's just like it's like going back to what I said from just like the professional perspective. It's just like the sheer incompetence and then the refusal to like own up to it, it just really galls me. Like I don't know, maybe it's just like me and you are a little bit on the older side of Gen Z, so we kind of got that perspective of like if you fuck up, own up to it. But then it's like you just see this stuff of just like purposely deluding yourself in contradiction of all evidence in front of you.
Yeah.
That's something I can't relate to. It's just stupid.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I just can't get behind it. And I'm just like, because I'm like, look, if we lost, we lost. Like, I mean, like, that's how I felt like after 2022 and I think 24. I was like, look, guys, we did stupid fucking decisions. And it's like just fucking lay it out there. And they're still like trying to figure out the post-mortem and there's all these internal conflicts and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, just fucking lay it out. I'm
And you
like,
know
you
the
lost. Just admit it and move the fuck on.
what makes that even worse, though, like you made me think of that, though, where they're going to be able to point to tonight as like a win. They're not going to actually want to do a serious postmortem because now
Yeah.
they're going to be like, oh, we can just run off like Trump being, whatever.
Yeah. We didn't change anything. We're still good.
Yeah. Although I will say, completely off topic, but one funny thing I saw earlier, which I feel like I should mention, in case everybody missed it, Dick Cheney died today,
Oh yeah.
and then we have a Muslim win the New York City mayoral race.
That is kind of funny.
Just point that out there. Just wanted to throw that out there to everybody.
Well, so
Oh,
speaking of well, let's finish with New Jersey governor. What'd
yeah.
you think of that one?
Yeah, I mean, in line with it's pretty much in line with everything else. I mean, it makes
Okay.
sense. I mean,
I mean,
I think,
everybody was saying it was gonna be close, and so that's
yeah.
why I was like, well, like I don't know, like I thought it was definitely gonna be like it may be like a little like it may be like not even purple, like maybe like a medium blue, but I was like, it's like they're gonna like Democrats are gonna win that one, so I don't really know why everybody was getting all riled up about that. Um,
I do remember late last year, I had said like this would be like a really good way to tell if like the takes of New Jersey becoming a swing state were viable. And as of now, yeah, that's been blown out of the water. It's definitely no. It seems like like the point somebody made earlier to me, which I thought was really good. It's like when you really boil it down, what happened in 2024 was there was a rejection of like woke stuff, but at the core of it was more economic, like inflation. You know, this year we saw that like a lot of the job growth last year was actually fake. So now it's like, okay, that kind of contextualizes that, but then it's like, okay, people that kind of recognize that then are not willing to see it now, and it's like, there. I think I sent it to you the other day. Like, there's been almost a million layoffs in the past like 6 weeks. Like,
Mhm.
and unemployment's going up. You got the food stamp situation. I mean, there's a lot of signs the economy's probably in a recession at this point. And even Scott Bessent kind of confessed the other day that like at least sectors of the economy are in
Well, I think
recession.
it was like 23 of the 23 of the 50 states are.
Yeah, no, yeah, or I saw it was like 30 now. They're saying so. I
It
mean,
could
it's
be.
like it's like it really just comes down to pocketbook issues. Like I feel like people try to overcomplicate this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like you got kids, you got bills to pay. You really don't give a shit. You just want to pay the bills. You're just if Biden was fucking up, so everybody wanted to vote for Trump, and now it's like okay, Trump's failed to deliver, so obviously now
Yeah.
you know. And
So I put a post. Damn, I mean, I should get paid for this fucking shit, dude. I think we all should, because I mean, we just call this shit so fucking much. I made this call. I put it on Twitter. It was said Republicans need to be on watch for 2026. The last five recessions lasted 10 months. And I said if we go into a recession by the end of the year, voters are going to be walking into a voting booth while in a recession, not to mention AI, inflation, Medicaid, the SNAP stuff, tariffs. I'm like Republicans are going to lose like we were looking at this with nine. I was like it could be like 15 or 16. And I'm like, that would be wild. Um, but I'm like, they could be doing that. And I think a lot of what, especially with this economy thing, like you're talking about, I think a lot of it Trump is banking on, is he going to be able to kind of ride it out till the spring? Because I think in the spring, I heard some Republican strategists talk about this. They're thinking that's when that the tax cuts are going to start getting back to people. And they're thinking, okay, they're going to be able to kind of have some economic growth start kicking in. So I think it's a little fucking wild that they're thinking that they're going to bank on that, especially given these numbers. I don't know how they're going to recover.
like something I'd heard from a lot of Democrats was they kept comparing last year to like 2004, and
Hmm.
like there was leaks today from the New York Times where they're like looking at like different strategies for like Venezuela and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's really shaping up to be a repeat of 2008. Like you could have a recession, you could have a very unpopular foreign war, and then like it just like the whole tax cuts thing. I'm just sitting here thinking about that. Like that's literally what Bush did back in. I doubt you remember it, but when like it was clear that like 2008 was starting, it was before uh what was it, Bear Stearns collapse, but it was or Lehman collapse, but it was after like Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac. So kind of in like those like 6 months in between, Bush did like a little tax cut, and the reason I remember that was it was enough so my family could actually afford to take a vacation that year. And
Mm.
like I'm just sitting here like that's bringing back so many memories. It's like they really are just replaying like the second Bush
Hey, it's
term
the
at this point,
same fucking hits.
and it blows my mind because like me and you had talked about this. Like I remember earlier this year, like there was a chance to genuinely be like a reformative presidency. Like they could have actually done like a lot, and like we and you
Yeah,
even talked about some of the policies they could have done.
yeah.
Like, and I know if we were seeing it, it was very possible. Like people like they could have seen it, but then it's like kind of goes back to the point I made before. Is like from everything I hear and from people I interact with, their staffers, like a lot of them seem like, and it's kind of symptomatic of I think the entire administration. It's like they're really detached from reality. Like they've kind of built up this narrative, and it's like you can kind of tell that like in their actions, like they genuinely believe it,
Well,
and like
not just that, but I mean, you've got people inside the party that are telling them that. I mean, you got Tucker saying shit to him, being like, "Hey, this and this," and that's one thing. But then you go to fucking Steve Bannon, their chief strategist, is like, "Don't fucking touch the Medicaid cuts. Don't fucking touch the SNAP. You're gonna fucking kill your base on this." And he's like, "Don't do." I think he was one who was like, "Don't do regime change wars in Venezuela." And you start getting these like, don't fucking do that, don't fucking do that, don't fucking do that, and they're just not listening to him. And I'm like, this is the guy who wrote the fucking book for you guys, and you're now just being like, we're not gonna listen to this, and then they get burned on these issues, and it's like, what did you expect?
it's just amazing. It really truly is because it's like I, I really can't even put it into words. Like it just blows my mind because it's tonight shouldn't have been like the wake up call. Like there was enough data, and we've been talking about it for months. Like if we could see
Mhm.
it, they could see it. That's the one thing I always go back to. It's like I'm just a hick from like a coal town, Virginia. Like I'm really not nothing special. But if I could sit here and look at the data, put two and two together, then I feel like at least somebody in the administration had to have at least enough brain cells to do the same. And the
So
fact that like they just didn't, it's just it blows my mind. It really does.
I think I put in another I sent an email to somebody and they read it on their show. And I asked them, I said, "Do you need to have a college degree to like understand and understand and be involved in politics?" And he's like, "No, you don't need." He's like, "You don't." And then he was talking about journalists being like, he's like, "You just need trade, trade education on that." Because it's like everything else, like you can do. Like anyone can like research this stuff and like look at it and kind of start connecting the dots. Like it's all out there. You just have to be like willing to pick it up, and like we don't know, like for example, like, I was doing some rough calculations when you're talking about Venezuela. And I was like, okay, like how many days is it gonna take for that boat to get here? And it's like, okay, I think I came up with like 11. And then the numbers you came up with were like 9. And I was like, okay, close enough. I'm like, anybody can figure this stuff out. And you can get a good idea to understand when shit's gonna happen. And when you see it, when you see that, you're like, okay, like that makes sense. Like you're not surprised by anything. Like I know people are like what is this stuff going on in Venezuela? It's the first time I'm hearing about it, and I'm like really? I'm like, where have you been? You know?
Yeah, and like I've talked about it too. Like I've always been really big about reading about history and stuff like that. So it does kind of give me like an ability to like contextualize a lot of this and like that's like I sit here and think about. Like I brought up the 2008 parallels, and it's just like they really have to not be doing that. Like it just some of the stuff is just so basic. Like I remember me like especially on the last episode, that was one point we kept hammering like with like the EBT and stuff like that. Like that's just gonna backfire, and you don't like even like a basic reading of history, like the grain dole in the Roman Empire. There's other examples I can think of, but that was kind of one of the first one popped in the head. It's like you don't seem to get when like you start messing around with this stuff. Like it exists for a reason. It's not just like because people lazy. It's like there's reasons these things exist, and once you start removing those, you start eating away at your stability. And like it blows my mind. It really does. I know I keep saying it, but just like I just sit here and I'm just more and more data is coming in, more results, and it's just like it's just insane.
So, I wanted to throw this out there. So, you mentioned it briefly, the um, the Attorney General of Virginia. That
Mm.
one was kind of close, right? That was like I think it was like 5 points, 5 percentage
Yeah,
points.
something like that. I haven't seen the
Um,
final results too.
are you surprised about that, or do you think it was too high or too low?
No, I knew it was gonna be close because like the environment just favored him so much, but then like his whole so people that don't know, after the Charlie Kirk shooting, there was like a scandal involving him because like he basically said that like he thought it was okay to like shoot kids at like people. But kind of the implication was he thought like Charlie Kirk's family should have been killed too, which obviously a lot of people have maybe an issue with that. And like Virginia is a very lefty state now, but it's very moderate. So like there was kind of thought like, okay, this might be enough to like sink him. And I mean, it was close, but like it's like as I said earlier, like somebody sat down, looked at the margin, and was like, yeah, you could probably just blame this on the shutdown because like that was the one statewide race that was really close, and it's like if it hadn't been for like so many people like not going without a paycheck for over a month now, yeah, someone probably been like, yeah, I mean, I don't really think I could vote for this guy, but like given the situation where again they don't have a paycheck and this is one of their ways they can send a message, yeah, they're going to pull that lever.
Yeah. So, let me see. What do you think about Mondani? I actually have an interesting kind of take on that.
Let's hear it.
Um, I've got no issue. Well, I did an episode on him where I think not that I think he's overrated. I knew he was gonna win, but it's like I think he's gonna have a harder time doing a lot of his policies, and I think he's really gonna struggle from um uh having to work with just so many groups and not really have like a lot of power and say to do things. and I think it's just it could really hurt that movement. Not necessarily like I'm not for or against. I'm just like, hey, that could happen. And when I see the election results right now, I think let me see. Let me share the screen. Haven't looked to see how many people are in on it yet. Okay, 90%, so it's pretty done. Um, he got 50%, 50.3. Cuomo got 42, basically 42%, and then Silva got 7.1%. So I think that's actually kind of interesting because it's like it basically would be a 50-50 in New York about whether it's going to be DSA or more of like an establishment Democrat. And I think that's kind of interesting. And probably the biggest reason is I feel like if you asked a bunch of people, and I think during the polling and all this other kind of stuff, I thought people were saying like Zoran was going to win with like 65% of the vote. So maybe I missed something there. Um, but that's some of my thoughts.
I think the polling kind of bore it out. Like it did kind of from the polls I had seen. It looked like it was, yeah. They thought I can't pronounce his name. Silwa.
Yeah.
I'm German. I really don't care about these Polish names. Anyway, Silwa. Anyway, they thought like he would do like in double digits, so obviously he underperformed.
Hmm.
Cuomo seems like he did a little bit better based off the Trump endorsements. That's probably what explains why Silwa did as bad as he did. But to me it seems kind of in line. And like the funniest thing I've seen is people are trying to blame Silwa for this, and it's like, dude, you could add him to Cuomo's total, like assume all of his voters transferred over, and he's it would have been obviously a lot closer, but like that's
Well,
not
one of them just needed to exit the race. That was the thing. You
yeah.
know, one of them just needed to exit the race and then just coalesce if you wanted to even have a chance.
Yeah, but I mean, you got like a very like. I mean, Cuomo is obviously establishment, but he's also like a New York Dem, which has like a certain ideological bearing, regardless of So I just and then too, I going back to like professionalism. I don't really know what Trump thought he was going to accomplish with that. Like, I really don't, because it's
No, I don't either.
like and I don't know why Cuomo even thought that was a good idea because it's like obviously that's not going to convert any of Mamdami's voters, and like
You know.
I guess they thought like I'd have to go back and look at the polling. I think there was some polling that showed like maybe if like you said like one of them coalesced it'd be enough, but even then like New York is a very deep blue city. Like I just again like I don't know what they're smoking over there.
So I want to throw some other ones in just to kind of finish this up. There's some ballot measures that I didn't really know about. One of them was basically photo ID and restrict access to pre-election voting. That was no in Maine. And then prohibit gun possession for people courts rule a threat, so basically red flags as a yes. And both of those were about uh, 2 to 1. So I thought that was interesting. And then Colorado had one for f fun school meals and SNAP. That was at 57%. So I think that kind of goes, which honestly, when you think about it, that kind of makes sense when you think about everyone who would be mad about SNAP, that the people who'd be like, yeah, we should pay for this is what is that, a little over 14, 15%, which is about what you see with Democratic margin. So that makes sense to me, like everything's really kind of trending in that direction.
Yeah.
Texas had one guaranteed parental rights. I think that was overwhelmingly Texas will require U.S. citizenship to vote. That was
Again, like
there. So.
it's just so performative. Like that's like really.
Yeah. Well, and that's where it's like whatever. I mean, it's a litmus test. The only one I really wanted to see was the California Prop 50. That's not in yet. So I'll see if, I'll probably post something tomorrow when I get up.
Yeah.
But that one is one where I'm curious to see how it goes. I tweeted this out. It's really smart what Newsom did, where he kind of put it up on a ballot measure, and I think it's just um, it would allow. I think them to do the redistricting. It doesn't even like vote for in the seats or anything. So I think or I think that's what it was. It's something like that. So, or maybe it was they just finished the other one. So this is supposed to be the whole gerrymandering ones. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. Um, but yeah, so I think overall, um, and then the Supreme Court ones. Those are some ones that basically went Democratic way with 60% of these votes. So I think all in all, like I think it just kind of showed. I think I think it kind of showed the trend of like where everything was um nationally. I don't think No Kings was like a huge part, but I think that's going to be big in the narrative. Um, and I think you're going to see a lot of those kind of things just kind of coalescing. And I think what you're going to see, and I think you've already kind of seen signs of this, is I think you're going to start seeing congressional Democrats play a little bit harder ball with Trump. And I think you're going to start seeing um, more conflict between them. As you're, like I said, you're already seeing that with the filibuster. And I think you're going to start seeing some more conflict, and I think you're going to start seeing the Republican Party kind of split a little bit. And if they're lucky, they'll get it done before 2026. But I could see that hurting them in 2026 as well. What do you think? Close this out.
As far as like the filibuster, like that's just such a stupid idea. Like not what you're saying, but like the whole like they're wanting to get rid of the filibuster now, and then
Hmm.
like you said, like if the Democrats win 2026, like congrats, dude. Like you're gonna screw yourself big
Yeah.
time with that. But the Colorado one about the free school lunches seemed very timely with like everything going on with like EBT. You brought up California with like the prop to do the gerrymander.
Yep.
Well, going back to what we started with, Virginia is looking like it might elect like a Democratic supermajority in the state house. And if that happens,
Yep.
yeah, Virginia could do a gerrymander.
Hmm.
So it's like you've really screwed yourself like with this. Like it just I forgot all about that because like there was I think I sent you there was that one map going around where it was like they could gerrymander it to where it's like I think like 12-1 if they really wanted to go all the way with it. So I mean, and that between that and like California, like that would undo like say if the VRA does get struck down. Well, that pretty much undoes the what they could do elsewhere with that. So
So here's what screws them on gerrymandering is when you put more Republican seats in, you decrease your margins in all seats. And when you have a Democratic +9 or Democratic +13, you're going to see it in those swing. You're going to see it in a lot more districts, and it puts you even more in a vulnerable position, like you mentioned. And that's not where you want to be, um, especially when you're the ones who change the maps, and then they get to live off of that for the next 2 years. Um, so I think that's going to really, really be interesting to see if what they actually do, and because you're already seeing some people like in Indiana, I think had already rejected making any changes. And I
Kansas
think there
did
was,
today too.
and I think there was another state. What state did you mention?
Kansas today rejected it as well.
Yeah, I think it was Kansas, and they're like, "Hey, we're not doing it." Um, and I think a lot of these other ones are going to probably see if they get struck down, and yeah.
Yeah,
And I honestly, that voting rights thing, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I could see, I could see maybe that coming the Democrats' way. Um, I don't know how, but I could maybe seeing that come their way just because we've seen where even this Republican um, jury or judges will throw one every now and again to Democrats to kind of balance it out. So I could see maybe that happening here.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think this is interesting. I'm curious to see what some commentary looks like tomorrow
All
from
right.
people, and I'll let you know. And then let's say and touch on the redistricting in California because, like I said, I think it's gonna really bite Republicans in the ass on that.
Yeah. Well, our next episode, everybody, will be coming from the Islamic Republic of New York City under the Ayatollah of Mambani. We
Yeah.
just want to let you guys know.
What's it, Madame Hula or something like that? Or
Uh, uh, we're going to get like so much hate mail for
I'm just
pronunciation.
where does that sound? But
Yeah.
I just think it's I was thinking about that meme today where it was like what everyone thinks is going to immediately happen to New York when Mandami is mayor, and it was like they're pulling up to like some subway stop, and it was like doing all that kind of stuff, and like it was like some Arabic thing, and I was just like I was like, that's so crazy, but someone out there probably thinks that's what's going to happen, like that, like
I
some
mean,
people from where like you're from, you and me are from, where it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, like they're thinking that's what's going to happen to that
To
part
be
of
to
the
be
world.
fair, to be fair, there was a plane crash at the Muhammad Ali Airport
In
in
Louisville?
yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And like I said, Cheney did die. I mean, there are signs. There are
The
signs.
planes are coming out of the sky again under questionable circumstances. Mandami is mayor, and then Cheney dies. There's a lot of stuff happening.
They are upon us. But anyway,
All right, sweet.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate
Not
you hopping
everybody.
on, man. All right, bye.
See ya.